Oh, hello there.
Good day to you, miss.
So the hamsters live inside the rectums of those people?
Yeah, sweetie, that's where they live.
Well, how does that work? I mean, do the butts look like little apartments inside?
Yeah, and can they leave the butt and, walk around on their own? Look, I don't know. I'm watching the same thing you guys are.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Ungroovy. I thought I'd change the tempo up a little bit and maybe kind of dip my toes into some other waters, and hey, y'all can tell me what you think about it, but, you know, I'm thinking about possibly diversifying, you know? Who knows? You don't always want the same content on the channel. I mean, as other YouTube channels have grown, they have also done other things. So, in this particular video, I thought I'd try my hand at theory. Now, of course, what am I going to theorize about? Probably the most overused thing on the internet just so I can use the thumbnail. That's right, it's Rick and Morty. So, this kind of came about because me and my wife were watching the pilot episode of Rick and Morty because, you know, this whole quarantine, our watch list has looped back in on itself like some demented Ouroboros nibbling its tail in a maddening virus-induced delirium that has spiraled out of... Well, what was I talking about again?
Hamster and Butt World weather is done, and now it's sports time. Coming up.
Oh yeah, Rick and Morty. So we get to the end of the episode, and she says, oh, he uses the seeds in his flask. And I thought she was going to talk about that theory where, you know, we've all seen it where the seeds, you know, make them smarter. But what she said next kind of threw me.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! Big reveal, I'm a pickle. What do you think about that? I turned myself into a pickle!
I asked, oh yeah, you know, they make people smart, and there's a theory, you know, he drinks some concoction to make himself smarter in the flask. And she goes, no, he used them to make himself dumb. Now, needless to say, I had to ask her what she meant, and she actually says, imagine if you're the smartest man in the universe and how frustrating it would be around to be people that much less intelligent than yourself. You'd go mad. You know, she's talking about how the secondary side effect is actually losing significant brain function, but he's so hyper intelligent that whatever he's drinking, while diluted, drops his brain function down to a level that he can tolerate being around people, but still being so intelligent to be able to outsmart everyone around him. And she said it was the drool that made her think about this. Now, we always wonder why Rick drools, and kind of throwaway answers, you know, he's always been drunk, but when Morty loses functionality, he actually drools in the same way Rick did. Now, it obviously affected Morty because of his lower IQ level, but no matter how smart someone is, some things sometimes have a universal effect, i.e. losing the ability to control your drooling. We also know that when you use something often, like anything, you tend to build a tolerance to this. Which brings me to my second part. Throughout the series, we've seen Rick's drug use and alcohol use become more and more prevalent, as well as his misadventures. They tend to get a little bit more outrageous. Now, yes, this is obviously progression of writing, but also that shows that his hyperintelligence, it's becoming harder and harder to suppress. I mean, hell, in the Vindicators episode, he actually took down a galactic-level threat and created an elaborate Saw-like gauntlet, all based on dragging out all the worst parts of the hero's hypocrisies while blackout drunk. We all think that evil Morty is being built up to be the ultimate enemy and the endgame threat, but what if he's not? You know, what if evil Morty isn't Thanos, but rather, he's Loki in this case? Now, if evil Morty's Loki, then who is Thanos in this story? What if, in fact, Rick is the endgame threat? And furthermore, what if our C-137 Rick knows it? It would explain why he has such a fervent disdain for the other Ricks, while at the same time having utter indifference to the other Mortys. The real question, though, is why? You know, why does he even bother stopping himself? Why does he anesthetize himself to the point of being able to tolerate social interaction? Why doesn't he just say, screw it, take over the universe, or at the very least end it, as he has tried to do on several episodes? Well, the answer is simple. Family. Now, we all know that through all his bluffing and statements of not caring, in actuality, he's probably the most sentimental of all Ricks. Now, this is shown when he starts crying, seeing his memories when strapped to the chair in Evil Rick's lair.
You're crying? Over a Morty? No, I'm just allergic to dipshits. Ugh, pathetic.
No other Rick in the history of Ricks would have ever had that sort of reaction, save for someone who has never had a family, someone who we thought was a throwaway character and has not appeared on the show since. Now, I'm talking about Idiot Rick. When Idiot Rick comes around, he is immediately one of the most out-of-character personalities any of the Ricks have had. So much so, he immediately bonds with the most unlikely of the family, Jerry. Idiot Rick is sweet, good-natured, and shows Jerry fun little scientific experiments, like how to make ovenless brownies like a pseudo Bill Nye the Science Guy or Mr. Wizard for those children of the 80s. It's almost like what Rick would have been if he'd been able to fully suppress his hyperintelligence enough to be the family man he always seemed to want to be. Rick is caught in a fight within himself, struggling to balance what he would consider to be his sense of self and what his heart tells him what he wants, his family. He's ice skating uphill, trying to beat back what he knows to be the worst parts of his nature to try and enjoy what little time he knows he has left with his family, because he knows it's a losing battle. He knows eventually his mind will win out, and he's going to have to make that decision Hemingway did and end himself. He knows ultimately it's pointless. And isn't nihilism Rick's modus operandi? In summation, though, the underlying story of Rick and Morty seems to be one of more comedic retelling of the old man in the sea. His family being the marlin, and when he's finally able to land it, the caustic nature of his own intelligence is the sharks taking bites out of it, hollowing it out and taking it away piece by piece. I also think this is what points Evil Morty being C-137's original Morty, as it seems to be something he has already tried before, and Evil Morty is the result of that. But hey, that's just a theory. My wife's theory. Hey guys, if you stuck around this long, thank you so much for watching. I really enjoyed making this video, and I'd love to talk more about this. If you have any thoughts or opinions on it, go ahead and throw them down in the comments below. Maybe tell me where I got it right, maybe tell me where I got it wrong. We can discuss even further. That'd be pretty awesome, and maybe give me some ideas for any next theories. But until next time, stay groovy.